it's from the Gaelic. It's also known as the fairy dog. It's a monstrous black dog of the Scottish Highlands. The Kusip is the size of a cow and covered with dark green fur. Its paws are bigger than humans' hands, and it carries its long, braided tail coiled over its back like a saddle. The Kusip is as swift as the wind and hunts nocturnal wanderers on the moors. Making a noise like a galloping horse and leaving huge footprints. Upon barking 3 times, it overtakes its prey and pulls it down. It is said to round up nursing mothers to supply fresh milk to infant fairies. Pretty much, if you're pregnant, don't be outside. One of the most common known is the Bargeist, also known as the spirit of the beer in German. One of the many black dogs of English and European myth, the Bargeist can be as small as a bull mastiff or as big as a bear. Covered in shaggy black fur, it has long fangs, claws, horns, a tail, and fiery red eyes. Seen around the northern English counties of Yorkshire, Durham, and Northumberland, it only appears at night in specific locations, primarily fishing villages and churchyards. It is also sometimes described as a huge bear, a headless man or woman, or even a white rabbit similar to the one Alice followed. The Bargeist drags a clanking chain behind it, sometimes wrapping its body in it. The sighting of a Bargeist is a guaranteed portent of disaster or misfortune. The galley trot, or known as the ghillie troot. In the tradition of the black dogs of the British Isles, the galley trot hunts the lonely roads of Dunwich and Woodbridge and the Baslow bog of Suffolk. Harassing nocturnal travelers, this bullock-sized shaggy dog is white rather than black. The Gwillig, also called the dog of darkness and the black hound of destiny. This is an enormous Welsh version of the typical British Isles black dog. The Gwillig is a giant mastiff that likes to pad along beside midnight travelers. The Gwillig seems to enjoy terrifying people, but otherwise does not pose much of a threat. Now, the Giddy Trash, also known as Brash or just Trash, for short. A spectral hellhound from the folklore of Lancashire and Yorkshire in northern England. Stop whispering. The Giddy Trash is a portent of imminent death and disaster, if seen. It is most often described as a huge black dog covered in thick, shaggy fur and sporting a pair of saucer-sized red eyes that glow like embers. It walks with a splashing sound, like if it's walking through trash on the ground, on webbed feet, and terrorizes nocturnal travelers on lonely country roads. Sometimes it appears as a spectral horse or donkey also. Now the Muth de Hoog, a spectral black dog that haunted the corridors and battlements of Peel Castle on the Isle of Man in the 17th century. It was described as an enormous spaniel the size of a calf, with shaggy hair and eyes like pewter plates. It attacked anyone who saw it, killing them outright or driving them mad. In 1871, the remains of Simon Bishop of Sodor and Man were uncovered during excavation. The bones of a large dog were found at his feet, known as, depicted as the actual original beast. So one that was actually found as a story could have been true. It was just a huge bones of dog. The Ashgart, a spectral black dog with fairy red eyes, sometimes appearing as a giant horse. It haunted the region around, haunted Belgium, until it was banished by a local priest for 99 years. It would leap upon the backs of unwary travelers on lonely roads, growing heavier with each step until they couldn't do no more, and then it devoured them whole. The Padfoot, a spectral beast with glowing red eyes that haunts the moors around Leeds in northern England. The Padfoot may manifest as a massive sheep, a giant white dog, or even a monstrous black donkey. Its presence is announced by soft, padding footfalls that may be accompanied by the rattle of chains or a fierce roaring as the beast draws closer to its intended victim. As well as any other hellhounds, the Padfoot should not be approached or touched. The Shuck Dog. Monstrous black dog in the folklore of East Anglia, England. Its name probably derives from the Anglo-Saxon skuka, meaning demon. The Shuck Dog is roughly the size of a donkey and is covered with shaggy black hair. Shuck Dogs have fiery red eyes, but some have been reported to only have one eye right in the center of their head, which shoots forth greenish-blue sparks. Depending on the locale, Shuck Dogs can be evil or good. Most patrol certain areas after dark and do not cause harm to people unless they are witless enough to challenge them. And the last one of the black dogs is the Wahila, a wolf-like creature said to inhabit Alaska and Canada's Northwest Territories. It is larger and more heavily built than ordinary wolves, with a wide head, big feet, and long white fur. Witnesses describe it to being about 4 feet height at the shoulder. Its hind legs are shorter than its front, and its tracks indicate widely spaced toes. They are solitary creatures and never seen in packs. According to native legends, the Wahila is an evil spirit which tears the head off its victims. Its description matches that of a Pleistocene bear dog, presumed extinct for 10,000 years. Which, I did a little extra research. They found bones of one 6 years ago up in northern Alaska. They compare it to just being a bigger version of a dire wolf, which is even bigger than a regular wolf. Now, the Hounds of Hell. The Whist Hounds, meaning eerie from the Devon dialect. They are a pack of huge white hounds with flame red eyes and ears. They can be found in the folklore of Dartmoor and Cornwall, England. They are led by Duar the Huntsman, also called the Horned Man. When storms rage over the moors, folks say that the wild hunt is riding out, hungering for human blood or the souls of unbaptized babes. Anyone who catches the sight of these terrible hounds will sicken and die within a year. Then I'm jumping down a little bit to the Devil's Dandy dogs. They are a pack of demonic black dogs of the wild hunt in the Cornish folklore of England. They have the fiery red eyes and breath, and they hunt down the living as well as the damned souls of the dead. And also, the other one right now, the Coin Eotar, also is the Gaelic version of them. They're called also the Hounds of Rage, are a pack of monstrous hunting hounds belonging to legendary Irish chieftain Crom Dubh, the Black Crooked One. Then I'm getting to one, Cerberus. If you've seen Harry Potter, it's the three-headed dog. Cerberus is also known as the Demon of the Pit. In Greek myth, the gates of Erebos, the underworld realm of Hades, Lord of the Dead, are guarded by the three-headed, dragon-tailed black dog named Cerberus. He lets anyone in, but does not allow anyone to leave. His heads represent the past, the present, and the future, and devour all things. He is the child of the giant Typhon and Echidna. Originally, Cerberus was described as having 50 to 100 heads. He's most famously known as being the final labor of Hercules, when he dragged Cerberus out of Hades' realm, wherever Cerberus' saliva fell, the poisonous alkanites sprouted, also called monk's hood or wolf's bane, on the ground. Later, the poet Orpheus charmed the beast to sleep with the music of his lyre. In Roman mythology, Aeneas, the Psyche, and Psyche were able to pacify Cerberus with 3 honey cakes, one for each head. And like I said, he's prominently featured in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Sorcerer's Stone. It says philosophers. Okay, in Hindu mythology of India, Sharma is the mighty dog that herds the cows of Surya, the sun god, each morning to begin the day. Its offsprings are Sharmiyas, two great fearsome four-eyed hounds that guard the entrance to the afterworld, ruled by Yama, the god of death. Their names are Syama the Black and Sabala the Spotted. Yama sends them out to find the dead and lead them into his bright kingdom. Therefore, the dead are given raw meat to pacify the hounds.
That makes them mean.
Pretty much. They eat the dead, they bring the souls into the dead, and they're allowed to eat the bodies that the souls left.
Cute.
Don't need the body after I'm dead anyway, so calm down.
It's so that the spirit and souls can't try to get back to their bodies.
Yeah, right.
So, in Norse mythology, Garm or Garmr is the blood-spattered four-eyed hellhound that guards the gates to Niflheim, land of the dead and dread domain of the goddess Hell. Is it H-E-L? Hell? That's how it's said? I'm looking at the goddess. Hell? Okay. From his point in the cave of Gripa, he allows no one to leave. Perhaps he's depicted as being the possible third puppy of Sharma that looks like him but was never depicted, never written down. And then the last one is Ixoltl. He's a huge, monstrous underworld dog in the mythology of the Aztec Indians of Mexico. Similar in many ways to the North American coyote, his legs and feet are turned backward, and his ears point in all directions at will. Every evening he catches the golden ball of the sun, dragging it down into the underworld until the next morning. He was said to have created the first humans and given them fire, but he is also the cause of various disasters. Attempting to avoid death, he underwent many transformations, finally becoming the small, perpetual larva amphibian, the Ixoltl. And that's... Okay, yeah, last one is the Ki-Du. He's the hellhound of the folklore of Brittany. It accompanies the souls of the dead on their journey to the other world, where it will wait with them until they are reborn back into this one. So pretty much going through extra information that this book doesn't give another source. You see one black dog, you will get fairly ill and someone close to you will die. You see it twice, so, one of your general house, whoever lives in your house, one of them will die, and you will get sick. You see the third one, you will die and everybody else will get sick. But it can't be 3 different ones, it has to be the same one. So, yeah. As they're depicted with the fire red eyes because you're looking into hell. You're looking into death.
Any questions? Cool.
The evil side.
The evil side. We gotta know the evil side to protect ourselves. Hey, we gotta know the evil side to protect ourselves. That's the reason why we.
Yeah, with knowing this, my future teachings will actually protect from being able to see them.
I just got a question.
Yes.
Why did most of them show up in England?
Because most of them were drunks and stuff.
What?
Actually, because the beginning of religion began in the Fertile Crescent, which is between Egypt and Iraq, and as the continental shifts actually spread, people that were left on certain continents still had the same beliefs, but they were in a different origin, so they were more isolated. So they carried. That's why the black dog has almost a very similar meaning. And all these different continents, as they drifted away, it's kind of like the telephone game. Like, you know, by the time it gets over there, they don't understand. You know what I mean? It's been completely changed by perspective and energy as it went.
And a lot of them were actually, most of the stories I can find were actually written by drunks. that have gone out, tripped, and gone out and hurt a regular dog, but they're them being so screwed up, their depictions were also wrong.